Mr. Platinum in 1989. So today, a very surprising report that I just read. A big star from WWE just basically put over TNA and kind of praised certain aspects in some of their stars. And the star is Randy Orton. Randy Orton, who I see as God. He's the reason why I started watching WWE again and back in 2007. And even now, if I turn on the television and Randy Orton is on, I don't have to know what's going on in WWE. I don't have to be caught up with the storylines. If Randy Orton is on, he could be laying on the floor. He could be doing cutting a promo, backstage, walking around, whatever he's doing. I would not flip that switch. Randy Orton is God to me. He's amazing, just simply amazing. So Randy Orton apparently was watching TNA for the second time ever, he says, last night, and I'm just gonna read his tweets and then I'm gonna talk about them. Samoa Joe can move. Miss working with Kurt Angle and Jeff. Could have done without the JWoww segment though. I enjoyed the backstage stuff for the most part, anyways. Something about the realness of the conversation between some of the talent were really well done. Then a fan seemed surprised that Orton was praising TNA, and Orton responded, "Who said that I don't like TNA? I surely didn't. Never approved of the eight-sided ring, though. Competition is a good thing." Talking about AJ Styles, he says, "Never met him. Can do some amazing things in the ring. In my opinion, has to do a lot with TNA's early success." And then he finished with some comments about Mr. Anderson. The only problem I've ever had with Ken was him telling the internet that I used my pool to get him fired. Not true. I have no pool. Very interesting. Even though Randy Orton has said his side of the story, um, I would love to hear it again. And how epic would it be if one day Randy Orton was to come to TNA and feud with Anderson, and they just put that all out there? Um, but to go back to his first mention with the backstage segments, I think this is great because a lot of people just do not get what TNA does with these segments, and I, for one, I really love them. I love that TNA has some kind of shoot style when it comes to their promos or their storylines, where they bring some real issues on TV. It's kind of a way to basically say that we know you're not dumb. We're not trying to say you're dumb. You know, they've done it in the past with things like um, contract contracts ending. For example, Christian when he was going to WWE, they put it right out there. Um, Even Christian and Rhino's friendship. What was it? Sting being a lousy dad, supposedly, according to Jeff Jarrett. Rhino relapsing when it comes to alcohol, even though that's kind of personal. But my point is that they bring these things out there. They don't try to play as dumb, and that's what we saw last night as well. A bunch of great backstage segments that looked very realistic, especially with the new style that is presented in reaction as well. He said he could have done without the JWoww segment, and which, with him saying that, I could already imagine how he feels about most of the segments with some of the um, guest hosts on Raw this past year. I could imagine that he probably was very frustrated seeing it from backstage. But like I said, really nice comments from Randy Orton. I was very surprised to see it. It just raises my amount of respect for him so much more that he could say that and not worry about getting in trouble for saying it. Um, I don't know. WWE has really been mentioning TNA more than ever recently, and even with WWE plugging Mick Foley, I swear it would just be amazing if for one night only Vince let them do something and basically invade Raw the same way he let ECW invade Raw. If he just let TNA invade Raw for one night or for one pay per view or whatever the case may be, it would be truly amazing. Um, and I don't see WWE losing. I It's just the business when there's two companies going at it and the business goes up. If out of nowhere somebody was cutting a promo and we knew that all these people were still under contract with the TNA. If out of nowhere somebody's cutting a promo on Raw and they mention Ric Flair or something, and then Ric Flair's music hits. Every motherfucker in that crowd that knows that Ric Flair's in TNA will get up and look at that Titantron. And if Ric Flair just walked out with his hands in his pockets, smiling, looking around, and the person in the and you know the commentary is telling him like, Ric Flair, what is he doing? And he's just looking, smiling, and then the song kind of remixed into the Fortune theme, and the rest of Fortune walk out with him. AJ Styles, Matt Morgan on Raw. You know how exciting that will be? I swear the ratings will go up in less than 5 minutes after that. Somehow everybody in the internet will know that this is happening, and everybody's gonna flip that switch, and the ratings will go up the next week. It will just, and then TNA's ratings will go up that Thursday. It will just benefit the business. The business will benefit so much for it. But like I said, that's just my dream. I wish that would happen. And then Kurt Angle and Jeff Hardy, they start off with the ex-WWE guys, and then, kind of blend in the TNA originals. But either way, that's how I would book something like that. But either way, Randy Orton, I don't know if he has 10 years left in his contract. He was offered a 10-year deal not too long ago. It was like 2 years ago, I believe. If so, and 10 years from now, let's say his son is about 10 years old, he wants to spend more time with his son, be the father, not let the business get in the way of that, like some other wrestlers have in the past. And he decides to, let's say, sign a contract with TNA. You know how amazing and interesting it would be to see Randy Orton adapt his style to TNA style. Now, I feel Randy Orton's character on television is the closest thing to the Attitude Era you will get, because Randy Orton is just ruthless. Even as a face, he's so violent and vicious, and he just has that look. So if Randy Orton was to come into TNA and now he has that freedom to take his character wherever he wants to take it, it would result in amazing things. And there's just so much people he could feud with, from Rob Van Dam, if Rob Van Dam's still around, Jeff Hardy, and the obvious people like Kurt Angle, which if they they've had matches in the past, but now Randy Orton's just on a whole other level, and even Kurt Angle in some aspects. If Randy Orton was just to come to TNA, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, even the Pope D'Angelo Deliro, it's phenomenal. And yeah, so thank you, Randy Orton. Now, real quick, Scott Hall has posted on his page a rare match that I guess was never televised from ECW, him versus Just Incredible. Now, the match itself is interesting, but what's even more interesting is Scott Hall's commentary for the match. Like I said, I have a lot of love for Scott Hall. You can see it in this interview, his mind of the business, and how his appreciation for young talent rising in the business. He puts Just Incredible over so much in this video. So much. It's definitely worth checking out. Just click on the link right below. I'll put the link right there. All you gotta do is click on it and watch the video, favorite it, comment it, subscribe to him. Scott Hall, I love you, man. It's me, Razor Ramon. Anyways, and last but not least, the Pope D'Angelo Deliro and Kevin Nash were on PWR last night, and Kevin Nash, another man that has just a brilliance when it comes to the business. So brilliant, I mean, and he's open up coming back to TNA, but right now he's taking a break, and he was kind of hurt that they didn't re-sign him and stuff like that. I love Kevin Nash. He's always very entertaining, and whether it's on TV or off screen and off TV. And the Pope D'Angelo Deliro as well. It's just great on the mic. And he was doing an interview that, hey yo, listen here, daddy, the Pope has spoken. And like, even cutting an interview, he had great promo skills. I'm definitely amazed what TNA has done with the Pope. He mentioned how TNA has made him into a bigger star than WWE even got close to doing in 3 years. And it's true. The Pope debuted last summer, and like I said in the past, I've missed most of WWE's WWE era, the entertainment era, because I was very bitter about the wrestling business. So I missed all of Elijah Burke. So my first impression of Elijah Burke was that Terror Dome Steel Asylum match at Hard Justice last year where he debuted in TNA. That was my first impression of him. So I was like, hey, this guy looks pretty good for the X Division. And then he started feuding with Suicide. And it was just very entertaining. And that match won me over, no surrender. And before I knew it, he was supposed to be in the Ultimate X match, Bound for Glory. Couldn't make it. Still stuck in the X Division. Out of nowhere, when the Bischoff and Hogan regime started, he's getting this main event push, feuding with Desmond Wolfe, going over Desmond Wolfe, then winning the tournament for the World Heavyweight title shot at Lockdown, and from there he's just taking everything they give him and taking it to another level. When he returned, he was kind of rusty with his promo skills, but now he's back into the flow of things. And like I said, I'm a big fan of the Pope. I can't wait to see what TNA does with him if they have him for the rest of his career. Either way, Mr. Blackman 1989, just wanted to put that out there. Great video, and add me on Facebook. My link is going to be right under the Scott Hall link. Mr. Blackman 1989. Peace.